We've seen flooding rainfall across parts of the Queensland tropics over the last week. Walkways turning into flood zones with those heavy falls coming down. Now, this is just to the northwest of Cairns, south of Palm Cove, where we did see these heavy falls coming through. We saw 144 millimetres falling at the racecourse in Cairns in the 24 hours to 9 a.m. on Sunday. We've seen places like Cardwell recording more than a metre of rain so far this month. Daintree Village, we've seen more than 1.4 metres of rain as well. So definitely some substantial falls to kick off the wet season. And we're still going to see heavy falls ahead. In fact, we have a flood watch in place for catchments north of Cardwell. This includes the Cape York Peninsula because we have a tropical low which is sitting up around the Cape York Peninsula. Now, this could potentially deepen into a tropical cyclone in the days ahead, and it is pumping heavy falls onto the Queensland coast and also parts of the peninsula as well. The rest of the country is looking relatively dry for this week, but this is where the focus is. We could see rainfall increasing over parts of the top end as the monsoon trough starts to approach, but the focus really is going to be over the far north of the country. So let's have a look at it day by day. Heavy falls on Monday. We could see more than 100 up to 200 millimetres along parts of the coast up around Cairns and Cooktown. It'll be the focus once again on Tuesday. We could see some showers just around the northern tablelands of New South Wales, but less than 5 millimetres there, and up around the top end we could see about 5 to 10 millimetres coming down. That could bump up if a thunderstorm rolls through, but not really any substantial falls. The focus once again the Queensland tropics and also western parts of the Cape York Peninsula, continuing with that trend on Wednesday. We could see some light falls coming up throughout parts of the New South Wales south coast and eastern areas of Victoria, but that focus once again continuing through to Friday up around northern Queensland, shifting to western parts of the Cape York Peninsula. So, and that's going to continue through to Saturday. Let's have a look at these rainfall totals though, because they are quite substantial. This area up around Cairns, Cooktown, we could see around 400 millimetres or more coming down in the 8 days ahead. Widespread falls in excess of 100 millimetres up throughout the coast of Queensland, over Cape York Peninsula, 100 to 200 millimetres also possible over areas of the top end as well. So that drenching rainfall is continuing for at least another week.
Over the last year, we've seen quite a bit of extreme weather across the country. So here's a look back now at some of the major weather events that affected Australia in 2018.
2018 began with Tropical Cyclone Joyce, which brought heavy rain to Western Australia and Perth's wettest January day in 18 years.
I think it might flood soon.
I think it's great. I really do. Beats the heat.
But the heat continued, and February rounded out the second hottest summer on record for Australia. In March, Tropical Cyclone Marcus hit the top end, Darwin's strongest since Tracy in 1974. A day later, the Tathra bushfires. 69 homes were destroyed on the New South Wales south coast.
It's only material stuff, but it's our stuff, and it's just got lots of memories.
That same month, Tropical Cyclone Nora brought flooding rain to tropical and western Queensland, but drought dominated headlines in 2018.
We're forced to sell because, you can't keep going on forever and getting further into debt.
April was exceptionally hot and dry, although in May, Hobart had its biggest downpour on record, which triggered flooding. June and July saw the best start to the ski season in 14 years, even though it was the second warmest July on record across the country. And August rounded out the driest start to the year for half a century in New South Wales. The drought worsened further in September, which was the driest on record across the nation.
Where did all this come from?
From generous Australians.
Oh, thank you so much.
The drought continued, although finally rain arrived in October as a so-called green drought started to take shape. There were heatwaves and bushfires in tropical and central Queensland in November before Sydney got drenched. A rain rate equivalent of a 1 in 100 year event.
My place literally flooded myself.
But severe weather season has a long way to go. The December and January focus, as always, remains storms, bushfires and cyclones into the new year. Tom Saunders, Sky News Weather.